Shruti, Anushka Chavan. Yes. Can anybody tell how this adaptive tree work protocol works? Yesterday only we have seen how the dividation is done in adaptive tree work protocol. Yes. Can anybody tell? No. Hmm? So what we have seen yesterday. If no one is able to tell, then hmm? कसं वर्कआउट होतो adaptive tree work protocol? It is very easy. How it is working? Hmm? Yes, please. Aniket, Aparna, tell me. See, if you are not giving the response, then yes, how it is working? Can anybody tell? How adaptive tree work protocol works? Yes, Anushka, Pallavi Jadhav. I don't know what all of you are doing in lecture. If nobody is able to answer how this simple protocol works, then hmm? See, just don't give the numbers. इथे सगळ्यांनी कुणी टाकायचे नाही प्रेझेंटली चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये. I'll mark absent. Huh? All of you are just joining the lecture and giving this your numbers and then nothing. फक्त नंबर टाकायचे आणि बाजूला व्हायचं का? Nobody is listening to the lectures. Nobody is answering properly. फक्त यायचं लेक्चरला जॉईन व्हायचं आणि जायचं. Huh? After the lecture also some students are still there in meeting. They are unaware about when the lecture is over. That much awareness is there. Yes, tell me how it is working. Hmm? Yesterday minimum 3 times I have explained this. Hmm? How it is working, how the groups are formed. Yes, what is mean by 0 to 6, what they indicates, and what is A to H.
0 to 6 groups
0
and
to
A
6
to H
groups.
frame.
Yes.
A
Okay.
to
0 to 6 are the groups and A to H are the stations. Correct. Now, हे dividation कोणत्या basis वरती केले जातं? Why this dividation is done? So what we have seen, limited contention protocol मध्ये काय असतं? Number of stations should be minimum, right? Then only the probability of success is higher. Okay, and for this purpose only this dividation is done. Every channel will have a right to get an access of a channel. प्रत्येक स्टेशनला काय असणार आहे? access घ्यायसाठी. So A to H all will have a permission to access the channel. Correct. So if anyone get a success of accessing the channel, then they will transfer the frame, no doubt. But as everyone is transmitting the frame simultaneously, it may possible that collision will occur, right? And if collision occurs, then only the groups are formed. Correct. So how the groups are formed? So if collision occurs, so initially there will be only two groups, group number 1 and group number 2. So group number 1 will have the four stations, A, B, C, D, four stations. Then group number 2 will have again four stations, E, F, G, H. Okay, now what will be the case? This separate group will have access to one channel, this separate group will have a separate access to the channel. So instead of having burden of all eight channels simultaneously, sorry, all eight stations simultaneously, only four stations will be there in competition for accessing the channel, right? So similar thing will be applied over here again. So all four will try to access the channel again. If any station, for example, बिला access मिळाला channelचा, then it will start transmitting. But suppose all four are transmitting at the same time, it may possible that again collision will occur. And जर झालं collision, then again these groups are formed. Now how the groups are formed? This group 3 will contain A and B, and group 4 will contain C and D. Similarly, group 5 will contain E and F, and group 6 will contain G and H. Right? So what will happen? Again, instead of four stations, only two stations will be there for accessing the channel. Similarly, here also two stations, here also two stations, here also two stations. So instead of having the burden of all stations, how it is done? So all the stations are divided into the number of groups, and this channel is allocated according to the groups. Okay. So in this way, this adaptive tree work protocol works. Okay, I hope it is clear. I don't know. Then next is the wavelength division multiple access. So that this point we have started yesterday. So I told that we'll see in detail again. So the next protocol is the wavelength division multiple access. So in this, what is given is that the strategy of FDM, TDM, or both, that is frequency division multiplexing, time division multiplexing, it is applied, okay, to divide the channel into sub channels. Now, once this division is done, then the message is being sent or received. So this protocol is called as a wavelength division multiple access. So how it is working? So this we have seen that every station will have a two channels. Correct? प्रत्येक स्टेशनला काय आहे तर two channels आहेत. Every station is having two channels. One is for or one channel will act as a control channel. Okay, so you can see here A's control channel, B's control channel, C's and D's control channel. And second will be acting as a, or it is used for transmission of the data. Okay, so A's transmission of the data, B's channel, this channel is used for B's data, C's data and D's data. So every station will have two channels, one for control and second for the actual transmission of the data. This control channel is having certain time slots. It is divided into the certain time slots, and the transmission data channel, it is again divided into the slots, where one slot is assigned or it is used for the status, and this status contains the status of a particular station, whether it is occupied by other station or whether station is a free. So for that purpose, this status is used. So whenever data needs to be transmitted, it transmitted by using the second slot or second channel. And whenever uh, any station wants to communicate with the other station, it establishes a connection or it checks the status of a station by using this channel, that is the control channel. Okay, so that we have seen one example. Also I have told you that if suppose A wants to communicate with B, then how the communication will happen in general. Okay, so if suppose A want to communicate with the B, so A will establish a connection request with B first. जर सपोज ए ला बी सोबत कम्युनिकेट करायचं आहे तर काय करेल, ए काय करेल, फर्स्ट बी सोबत कम्युनिकेशन रिक्वेस्ट एस्टॅब्लिश करेल, and this communication request is established in the control channel here by using control channel. And once this suppose B is free and B can also talk with the this station A, or it wants to talk with the station A, then what B will send or it will communicate with the A in A's transmission data or the data channel. Okay, now suppose reversely B wants to establish a connection with the A, so B will contact or establish a connection in A's control channel, and after that it will communicate with the A by using its transmission data or the data channel. Okay, in this way the communication between these two stations are happening. Now next, each station has two channels, so that already we have seen. Now suppose each station is has two transmitter and two receivers. Okay, each station has two transmitters and two receivers. What these two transmitters, see here. So fixed wavelength receiver, okay, one fixed wavelength receiver for its own control channel. ओके, प्रत्येक स्टेशनला काय असतात, दोन ट्रान्समीटर अँड दोन रिसिव्हर्स असतात. सो आउट ऑफ दिस फर्स्ट इज व्हॉट, अ फिक्स्ड वेवलेंथ रिसिव्हर फॉर each station for its own control channel. This one control channel, याच्यासाठी एक काय असतं तर fixed wavelength receiver is there. Then next, a tunable transmitter for sending on other stations control channel. सेकंड काय असतो, ट्रान्समीटर असतो फॉर सेंडिंग अदर स्टेशन्स कंट्रोल चॅनेल. मीन्स हिअर सपोज मगाशी जे सांगितलं आपण एक्झाम्पल, ए ला बी शी कम्युनिकेट करायचं आहे, तर ए काय करतो, कनेक्शन एस्टॅब्लिश करतो बी च्या कंट्रोल चॅनेल मध्ये. सो टू एस्टॅब्लिश दिस कनेक्शन रिक्वेस्ट इन अदर स्टेशन्स कंट्रोल चॅनेल, द सेकंड ट्रान्समीटर इज used. Okay, and that is tunable transmitter for sending other stations control channel. Next, a fixed wavelength transmitter for outputting the data frames. Here प्रत्येक स्टेशनला काय करायचं आहे तर फ्रेम्स ट्रान्समिट करायचे. सो फॉर ट्रान्समिशन ऑफ दॅट फ्रेम्स इट हॅज अ फिक्स्ड वेवलेंथ transmitter every station, and a tunable receiver for selecting data transmitter to listen. Okay, also to receive a tunable receiver for selecting the data transmitter to listen, means from which station the data is coming, so that is uh, received by this tunable receiver. In this way each station will have a two transmitter and two receivers. Okay, now in this type of the communication. So whatever example I had told, there are three classes communication or three types of the traffic communication is studied or it is there. Okay, three types of the traffic or three classes uh, of the communication is supported by the this particular protocol. Now, what is these three types of the communication? First one is the constant data rate communication oriented traffic. First one is the constant data rate connection oriented traffic. Second is the variable data rate connection oriented traffic. And third one is the datagram traffic. Okay, means we can say that these are the three types of the cases which with the help of which we can understood how this particular protocol is working. Okay, how this WDMA protocol is working. So for this we are going to see these three types of the communication. So let's start with one by one. First one is the variable data rate connection oriented traffic. That is the second one, I thought. Yes, variable data rate connection oriented traffic. So how it works, so whatever example I told right now, that is A wants to communicate with B, then how B is sending the frames and all that, so that comes under this type of communication, that is variable data rate connection oriented traffic. So how it is happening, so those who want to communicate with each other, so among these two stations connection is established to exchange the control information but not for a data. एक्झॅक्टली वॉट एव्हर आय टोल्ड, ए ला बी सोबत जर कम्युनिकेट करायचं असेल तर ए काय करतो की कनेक्शन रिक्वेस्ट सेंड करतो, नॉट डायरेक्टली डेटा. Okay, that is given over here. Connection is established to exchange control information but not data. Now after establishing a connection, what it tells, it just says that there is a frame for you in slot, any slot. I have taken one example, that slot number 3. There is a frame for you in slot number 3. Who will say this? A wants to communicate with B, right? So once the connection is established, then what A will say, there is a frame for you in slot number 3. Whose slot number 3? So it is obviously B's slot. Means B has approved the communication request for A, and after approving the communication request, A will send a frame in B's slot. Here. Okay. A न B ला रिक्वेस्ट सेंड केली, बी फ्री असेल, बी न ऍक्सेप्ट केली रिक्वेस्ट, मग ए काय करणार, बी शी कम्युनिकेट करेल आणि कम्युनिकेट करताना तो काय करेल तर फ्रेम सेंड करेल. सो इट विल सेंड इन बीज free slot. So suppose A will send a frame at slot number 3. While sending the frame, if suppose collision is occur while sending the frame or establishing a connection, so no problem, again the same procedure will be followed. Collision झालं तर. Now if collision is not there, means B is free, B has accepted the request, and B has got the frame from A, then the communication is over. Okay, but there is a problem that it may possible that two station establish a connection with B, say for example in two different slots, slot number 4 and 5, right? For example, in this A is also wants to communicate with B and C also wants to communicate with the B. So both will establish a connection with the B. Okay. If Simultaneously, two stations establishes the connection with the B. In that case, what will happen? There is a frame, means they both will send the message that there is a frame for you in slot number 4 and 5 or 3. If such request came for two different stations, at that time what we will do, it will accept any one request and discards the other frame. ओके. सो बी काय करणार आहे की एकच फ्रेम कुठल्या तरी एका स्टेशनची, आयदर अ फ्रेम फ्रॉम ए or a frame from C. So any one frame can be accepted by B and other frame is discarded. So that is the loss of the data in this situation. If two stations simultaneously uh, sends a request to the any one station. Okay, so this is the first case, that is variable data rate connection oriented traffic. The second is the constant data rate connection oriented traffic. So in this uh, type of communication, a connection is established in data slot also. In the earlier, it is established in the control slot only. And in case of the constant data rate, the connection is established in the data slot also. Second slot. डेटाच्या स्लॉट मध्ये पण कनेक्शन हे केलं जातं. दिस कंट्रोल slot and data slot. Okay, then once the connection is established, it is approved, the communication will happen. Now when this connection is established, at that time, if suppose A wants to communicate with the B, so A will establish a connection. So while establishing a connection, A asks for a connection. It also says something like, is it all right if I send you a frame in every occurrence of slot 3? Please remember this. Okay, काय होतंय, ज्यावेळेस A ला B शी कम्युनिकेट करायचं असतं, in this, suppose A wants to communicate with the B, so connection कसं जाणार, in B control slot as well as data slot, दोन्हीकडे जाईल. B न suppose approve केलं connection, so A will send a frame. But while sending a information or frame, what A will do, A will ask a channel B, station B that can I send a frame in every occurrence of slot 3. म्हणजे जेव्हा जेव्हा स्लॉट नंबर 3 येईल प्रत्येक ह्याच्यामध्ये, यू कॅन सी हियर, इथे सपोज स्लॉट नंबर 3 आला इथं, देन नेक्स्ट इथं, लाईकवाईज एंडलेस. So in every slot number 3 can I set my frame, म्हणजे प्रत्येक वेळेस नेक्स्ट प्रत्येक स्लॉटच्या थर्ड स्लॉटला, प्रत्येक ह्याच्या डेटाच्या थर्ड स्लॉटला माझी फ्रेम मी सेंड करू का, किंवा माझा डेटा सेंड करू का. So this permission is asked by the station A. So if the communication is approved by the station B, it means that every slot or the every data slot, every third data slot will be allocated for station A only, and the communication will happen, and that is the why it is called as a constant data rate. Okay, so this is the second type of communication, and the third is datagram traffic. So how this is working, so instead of writing a connection request message into a control slot, it writes the data directly for you in slot 3. means याच्यासाठी अगोदर इथं काय म्हणतो आपण, फर्स्ट ए काय करतो तर कनेक्शन रिक्वेस्ट सेंड करतो कुणाच्या कंट्रोल चॅनेलला, आणि परत जर अप्रूव्ह झालं तर डेटा सेंड करतो. सो इन केस ऑफ द डेटाग्राम or the third class, in that third class type of communication, instead of requesting for the connection first, what A will do, A will directly send a data. Okay, and that is transmitted. If B is free during that slot, it accepts the frame, else that frame will be lost. So before transmission, no connection is established. Directly A is transmitting the data or frame to the B. Yes, any doubt?
मॅम कॉन्स्टंट डेटा रिपीट करा ना.
This one. Okay, I'll repeat it. Constant data rate मध्ये काय होते की I'll show you the diagram. This one. So in first step, what we are saying, first A establishes a connection request here, and then B approves, then the communication is happening. But in case of the constant data rate, what is done? A connection is established in data slot also. Okay. A connection request कुठं करतो? Control slot ला पण आणि data slot ला पण. Now suppose B accepts the request for the communication and A is sending the frame. But while sending the data, what A requests to the B that can I send a frame in every third slot? ठीक आहे. आता काय B चा थर्ड स्लॉट फॉर एक्झाम्पल फ्री आहे. मग ए काय म्हणतोय की मी तुझ्या प्रत्येक थर्ड स्लॉट मध्ये माझी फ्रेम सेंड करू का कंटिन्युअसली. ठीक आहे. मग आता हे तर दाखवले हा एक डेटा स्लॉट झाला बी चा. लाईकवाईज देर विल बी अ सेकंड डेटा स्लॉट. ओके, लाईक दिस 1 2 3 4 and for example yes is there. Similarly it will go on continue. So प्रत्येक स्लॉटच्या प्रत्येक डेटा फ्रेमच्या थर्ड स्लॉटला कोणाची फ्रेम असणार आहे? स्टेशन नंबर ए ची असणार आहे. मीन्स दॅट स्लॉट इज फिक्स्ड फॉर ए. Okay, that's why it is called as a constant data rate. Means once the request for any station is get approved, आता इथं काय झालेलं आहे, बी न काय केलंय, ए ची रिक्वेस्ट अप्रूव्ह केली. इट मीन्स दॅट ए विल सेंड इट्स फ्रेम इन एव्हरी थर्ड स्लॉट. So once the request is get approved, that station will send for every third slot or fourth slot, whatever. ज्याच्यासाठी त्याने रिक्वेस्ट केलेलं आहे तो प्रत्येक स्लॉट त्याला फक्त स्टेशन ए लाच रिझर्व असेल. Okay, so that is nothing but the variable data rate, sorry, constant data rate connection oriented traffic. Am I clear? समजलं?
येस मॅम.
Okay. So these are the three classes we can say with the help of which we can understood the working of wavelength division multiple access protocol. Okay, so is there any doubt in this protocol? If yes, you can ask me. Yes, any doubt? Okay, no doubts. Okay, we'll move forward. So the next point is wireless LAN protocols. Okay, wireless LAN protocol. So we know what is mean by the LAN, we know what is mean by the wireless LAN. So some protocols are specially designed for the wireless LAN, and that we are going to see in this particular point. There are two protocols exactly that we are going to see. So we know that there are number of mobile computing devices and communication are increasing day by day, and due to this the demand of connecting them to the outside world is increasing. Okay, so in if we consider the earlier devices, mobile or the computers, so that all devices are not that much feasible to for the internet, we can say. But as the time passes on, the mobiles as well as our laptops or the our system, they are quite feasible to communicate, or to have a communication with the internet. So if we consider the example of the system computer or the any notepad or device, then in that case the first device comes, that is nothing but the modems, which are used to connect them with the internet. So they are mostly used. But to have a 100% mobility, the computers needs to use the radio signals for the communication. Okay, and that is, we in short we call it as Wi-Fi. Okay, so radio signals are used. So if we consider the example of the Hello, I'm audible. I think I left. Network issue was there. I think I left the meeting. I don't know. Thank you, Pallavi. Okay. Where I left, can anybody tell? Yes, where I left the meeting. Can anybody tell where we were? Does I explain this? Yes.
No, ma'am.
हे झालंय वायरलेस लॅन प्रोटोकॉल एक्सप्लेन केलं.
हा मॅम लास्ट पॉइंट चालू.
सो सीएसएमए पर्यंत आलंय म्हणजे सीएसएमए एक्सप्लेन करायचंय. ओके
करायचं.
ओके आय एक्सप्लेन. Okay, so what we have said that in case of the wireless LAN, so it is or there are lots of barriers are available in case of the wireless LAN. Why when the data is sending? Okay, so for example, air moisture is there, trees are there, or anything due to which the range of the LAN or the wireless LAN can get affected. So if the range is affecting, it means that obviously the data will get affected. Maybe my data will not be sent properly and my frame will not be reached properly. It can be possible. So what will be the solution? So one solution we have seen in case of the wired communication, we can say that is nothing but the use of the CSMA. So whether we can use the CSMA concept in the wireless LAN also. So CSMA is what? Before transmission, the status of the channel is being checked, whether it is busy or free. If it is busy, then no transmission should happen. And if it is free, then only the data is or the frames are being transmitted. So that is the case of the CSMA. So can we use the same CSMA concept in case of the wireless LAN also? So the answer is no, we can't use it. Why? Because so CSMA only says the channel or the medium. Okay, and for this answer or the clarification of use of the CSMA, we'll see these two types of the problems if we use the CSMA in case of the wireless LAN. Okay, so what we say, CSMA checks the channel or checks the medium before the transmission, right? Now suppose for example A, B, C, D, these are the four stations. Okay, and out of these four stations, obviously means they don't know who is next, no, so they are separated from each other. Now suppose for example A is transmitting the data to the B. Okay, A is transmitting the data to the B. Now at the same time, for example, C is also wants to communicate with the B. According to the CSMA, what C will do? C will sense the medium. Okay, and it will found that it is free because there is no communication between C and B for now. Communication is happening between A and B. So C will sense the medium and C will find that medium is free. So it will start transmission. So when the frame is transmitted, after that C will understood or it will stuck because of this communication, because B is already busy with the A. So CSMA only checks the medium, it will not check the receiver side status. CSMA काय करतो तर फक्त medium चेक करतो, रिसिव्हरचं काय चाललंय बघतो का नाही. It will only check the medium for free. Okay, so according to the CSMA, in this case C will check the medium, as it is free it will start the transmission. But when the frame is being transmitted, it will understood that B is busy with A or any other station, let us say. So this frame will be discarded, or C will not able to continue the communication. So such type of the problem where the competitor is hidden from the station, then such type of problems are called as a hidden station problem. Understood why we can't use CSMA? Okay, this is the first scenario. Now here is what A is too far from the C. That's why it is not possible for C to recognize the competitor किंवा A ते recognize करू शकत नाही C. So this is the first case. Now for example, in the same there are 4 stations. Now suppose B is transmitting the data to A, for example. Okay, B is transmitting the data to A. Now same what will happen, again C will check the medium. C काय करेल, medium check करेल. Now suppose C understood that yes, B is busy with some other station. Reason is what, as this medium or the B is near to the C, so C will understood this communication, right? Now so if once C concludes that B is busy with say with any other station, C also concludes that my next neighbor will be also busy with some other station. माझा हा नेबर बी आहे and that is busy with some other station, so maybe D is also busy with the some other station. So falsely C concludes that I can't communicate with the D also. Okay, and such type of the problems are called as a exposed station problem. Exposed station problem. Okay, so these are the problems which are arised if CSMA is used in the wireless LAN. Understood why we can't use the CSMA? Answer of this, no. So these two types of the problems may get arise if CSMA is used to check the status of the medium, because CSMA only checks the medium, it will not check the status or what is happening with the receiver. Okay, so that is the reason that to check the status of the medium we can't use CSMA in case of the wireless LAN. हाँ ठीक है, any doubt? No doubt. Everyone understood? Yes? Okay, understood. ठीक है. So as CSMA is not useful, this next protocol comes which are specially designed for wireless LAN. So these are the two protocols, MACA and MACAW. Actually, this second protocol is, we can say that updated version of the first one. There is no lots of changes are done. So we'll see first what is MACA and I'll tell you what is this MACAW. So MACA stands it is an early protocol which is specially designed for the wireless LAN only. Okay, it stands for multiple access with collision avoidance. Okay, multiple access with collision avoidance. This protocol is designed in 1990. 1990 मध्ये हे protocol design केलेले. Okay, so what is the basic idea behind this protocol is that for sender to encourage the receiver into outputting a short frame so that stations nearby can detect the transmission and avoid the transmission for duration of the transmission of the frame. Okay, what you understood, I don't know, but I'll tell you the diagram. From this you can definitely understood how the MACA works. Okay, now basically in case of the MACA there is a restriction on the फ्रेमच्या साईज वरती restriction असतं. Okay, so there must be a very small size frame should be there when it is getting transmitted, so that restriction is given. So according to me I think 30 bit is the specific size. Still I'll update, yes, I'm not sure. So I think 30 bit is the minimum size of the frame. That restriction is given. Now how it works, so see, suppose there are stations. Okay, all these are the four stations. This 1 2 3 4, all these are the four stations. Don't read, I just see that these are the four stations. Now suppose this, I'll give the name so that it will be better. A, then B, then C and D. So these are the four stations A, B, C, D. Now suppose B is transmitting, or B wants to transmit the data. So what it will do? It will transmit a signal, and it is called as a RTS. So RTS stands for request to send frame. Okay, request to send frame. So it is one type of the frame. So if suppose station B wants to send a frame, so it will transmit RTS frame to the nearby stations. So B la near kon kune A as well as C. Okay, so what it will do, it will transmit the RTS frame to C as well as B, sorry, C as well as A. Now, suppose C accepts the request, or C is free. So, what this C will do? C will send a frame named as a CTS. CTS stands for clear to send to the B. Okay, but while sending the CTS, as C is not aware who has sent this RTS, either B or D, so what C will do? C will send a clear to send frame to B as well as D. दोघाला पण सेंड करणार, because B and D are the neighbors of this C. Right now B wants to send the data, so once B get an CTS frame, that is clear to send frame from C, it will start the transmission, it will send the frame. Right, so frame has reached to the C. Once the frame reaches to the C, this C sends an acknowledgement to the both the stations B as well as D. Okay, this is the working of this MACA. Now see this one more diagram. Same is given, only this is, we can say that it is a flow, and it is actually how these are sending. Okay, now there are four stations A, B, C and D. Right, so what they have given, see here, range of A's transmitter is this one, means D is too far from A. Range of B's transmitter, in case of the B, C is too far from the B. Okay, now how they will send? So suppose A want to send the data, what A will do? A will send an request to send frame to the B. Okay, so if B is free, what B will do? B will send a CTS, that is nothing but the clear to send frame to the A, and they will start the communication. So this is a very simple protocol which is designed for the wireless LANs. It is very easy. I hope it is clear. There is no complications. Guys, complicated nahi hai. So it is a simple MACA protocol. Okay, this one is the simple protocol. So though it is a simple, it is very clear how the frames should be transmitted. still collision can occur. Collision may still occur. So when the collision can be occur, so when two stations try to send an RTS at the same time. Okay, when two stations try to send an RTS at the same time to the same station. RTS means request to send. There is those stations at a time RTS फ्रेम एका स्टेशनला सेंड करते. So in that case collision can occur. But again if the collision occurs, so in case of the collision, in such cases sender waits for a random amount of time and again start the same procedure. Okay, so this is how collision can be handled. So there is one method, binary exponential backoff method. So there is a separate point on this. So I will be cover in next part. Okay, what is this actual method and how it is working? So for now, you just don't think of this word. So just remember how collision is handled by the wireless LAN, the MACA protocol. And the next is the MACAW. So to improve the performance of MACA, the new protocol is generated and which is the MACAW, and that is multiple access with collision avoidance for wireless. So there is only one additional thing is done, and that is already I have explained over. That is nothing but this acknowledgement. This one, this part. It is there in MACAW. Okay, so in earlier, that is MACA, so you can see here MACA, the first hota protocol. In that case acknowledgement was not added, and due to this what happening, the retransmission of the frame is not possible as the acknowledgement is not coming from the receiver. So if the frame get lost in between that, then the retransmission is was not happening. So to avoid such type of the retransmission problem, acknowledgement of uh, after every transmission should be there, and it is added in the second type of protocol, that is nothing but the MACAW. Okay, so the major conclusion with all the protocol that we have seen, that without acknowledgement of the data link layer, lost frames were not transmitted. बरोबर आहे ना, जोपर्यंत सेंडरला एक्नॉलेजमेंट मिळत नाहीये की फ्रेम लॉस झाली नाही झाली, प्रॉपरली रीच झाली, हाऊ सेंडर विल कन्क्लूड एनिथिंग. So without acknowledgement, retransmission of the frame was not possible. So for that purpose, only change made in MACA working is that it introduced an acknowledged frame after each successful transmission of the data frame. So that I have already explained. Okay, so that is the only difference between the MACA and MACAW. Understood? These two types of the protocols. Any doubt? Yes? Any doubt? Are you listening me? Yes, any doubt? Abhay? Yes, Abhay. Abhay Ghante. I don't know. Amruta? Amruta Gadge? Pallavi? Aparna?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any doubt? No doubt. Any other? Pawan? Are you there? Pawan? Jagtari. Yes, Prasanna. Why are you
Yes, ma'am.
late? Why you joined late?
Yes, ma'am.
Prasanna, why you joined late? You joined after when
Ma'am.
second time I have given the message.
Yes, ma'am.
So why? Hmm? Timing of the lecture is one, no?
Ma'am.
You
मॅम
should
ते शॉपमध्ये होतो जरा.
you should be join lecture on time. Hmm?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So any problem? Others? Okay, I think there is no problem. ठीक है. So it is very simple wireless protocol MACA and MACA-W. Okay, so the next point is data link layer switching. It is quite different. Means up till now, whatever we have seen, all these are just protocols. हे protocol, ते protocol, कशासाठी use करायचं and all that. So from means I think up till now we have covered lot of protocols and there will not be any protocol remaining. So next part is related with how the wireless LANs or any LAN is being handled. Okay, so that part we are going to see. So the next point is the data link layer switching. So multiple LANs can be connected by a device called as a bridges. Okay, multiple lines where these are used or where it is required, so it may possible that the two separate buildings are having two separate lines, so in that case it needs to connect with each other. So most of the organizations have multiple lines, and if suppose they want to connect them with each other, in that case it needs to connect two lines or different lines with each other, and these are connected by using the bridges. Okay, so bridges operate in data link layer. Bridges operate in data link layer. So many organizations have multiple lines and they wish to connect by using bridges. Okay, now when to exactly use the bridges? Exactly when to use the bridges. Okay, for example, some examples I have listed over here. For example, first one, to connect many university and corporate departments together. For example, there are universities and the corporate departments, and each one of them are having their own lands. Okay, and they are means every department is, or the every corporate department is having their own LAN, and they are connected with their personal computers or the workstations or the servers. Okay, since the goal of the various departments differ, means प्रत्येकाचा corporate department, for example CSC department, ENTC department, mechanical and all, so every department is having different goals or different devices to connect with each other. So without regard to what other departments are doing, means we don't know what type of connection is there in the other department, how their labs are connected with each other. So it may possible that someday, possibly someday, it is required that there must be some connection between these two different lands. So in that case we may need a bridges. Okay, second example, to connect the buildings which are geographically long. Okay, for example, there are two different organizations and they may be different or they are far from each other in, for example, in different several buildings by considering considerable distance. So it may or it is feasible to have a separate LAN in each building and connect them with the bridges rather than using a single link or single link or a single cable for a entire site. Okay, for example, in our college also, in engineering is a separate building and pharmacy is a separate building, right? Suppose if instead of using only one wire or only one cable to connect these two buildings, it will be feasible or it is feasible and it is less costly that instead of using a single wire for whole site, we'll use a separate LAN in engineering as well as in the pharmacy, and we'll connect them with the bridges. Okay, so that in this case bridges are useful. Then the third one is to split logically a single LAN into the separate LAN. Also may be possible that to have a proper load distribution on every LAN, it may possible or it is required that one LAN should be divided into the different LAN. So in that case also, to join these separate LANs, bridges are required. Now how these bridges are actually designed or how it is used, that is shown over here. Okay, exactly working कसं असतं, that is shown over here. So all these are the workstations, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. These are the workstation. This is the file server and this is the bridge BBB indicated by B, and it is a backbone line LAN, means only one LAN which is divided into the number of bridges. So this is a one network we can say where the different LANs are connected with each other by using the bridges. Okay, now what is this? These are all are the workstations, right? Then okay, and this is the file server. Okay, what is the use of the file server? So it is just contains of what we can say the information or the status of this workstation, connected workstation. ओके, सो प्रत्येक ब्रिज कोणत्या कोणत्या वर्कस्टेशन्सला कनेक्टेड आहे. सो that information that information is being stored in this file server. Okay, so these are the uses of the bridges. Okay, so each LAN, in case of the bridges, each LAN, so this one is one LAN, this is one LAN, this is one, and this is one. So each LAN contains a clusters of the workstation with its own file server. Okay, so you can see प्रत्येक LAN ला काय तर cluster of workstation means group of workstations are there and one file server is there. So this file server is used so that most of the traffic is restricted as to a single LAN. So how much how much workstation should be there for a single LAN, so that is being restricted or being updated by using this file server. And so this dividation is done by the file server so that lot of load should not be there on a single LAN cable. Okay, so this is the way how the data link how the different LANs are connected by using the bridges. Okay, so this is what is mean by the bridges that I want to show you. Okay, so whatever I have covered today, I hope there is no doubt till now. Can anybody is having any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll stop here. Is there any doubt? Is there any doubt? You can ask me. Otherwise, I'll ask the question to the individual person. Okay, and I'll mark the present of those only. Because I have seen or I have heard from the other faculty also that students are just joining the lecture and they are not responding properly. Huh? Yes, Sakshi. Sakshi Shivcharan. Roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you understood
Yes, ma'am.
everything? Hmm. Yes. Sanket. Sanket. Roll number 39. Yes.
Yes,
Sanket.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you understood whatever part I have covered today?
Yes, ma'am.
Everything. Yes. So what is mean by the bridges? Can anybody tell? Anyone? What is mean by the bridges? Yes. What is mean by the bridge? What is the use of the bridges? Why they are used? Yes. Can anybody tell? Huh. What is mean by the bridges? If you don't want to give the answer, you can write in chat box also. Yes. What is mean by the bridges? ब्रिज में कशासाठी यूज होतो ब्रिज? Yes, bridge means what? Okay, I got one answer. Bridges connects two or more different LAN that has similar protocol. Okay. Any other? Anybody else want to give the answer? So correct. The bridges are used to connect different LAN with each other. Okay, and the purpose of joining this LAN can be different, no doubt. So the next question is, what is mean by the wireless LAN? Sorry, which protocols are used in case of the wireless LAN? Which are these protocols? Yes, which protocols are used to handle wireless LAN? It is very simple. You just have to give the answer. Everyone, write in chat box if you don't want to speak up. Yes, what is me? Which protocols are used? What are the names of these two protocols which are used? Yeah, MACA and MACAW. Pratibha. It is MACA and MACAW. Okay. So MACA stands for, what is the long form of the MACA? Yes, others also give the answers. Sanika Thakre.
Multiple access
Okay, multiple access.
with collision
Yeah,
avoidance.
with collision avoidance, right. And MACAW means multiple access with collision avoidance for wireless. Correct. So these are the two protocols which are used for wireless LAN, right? So the next question is, can we use CSMA in case of the wireless protocol? Oh, sorry, wireless LAN. Can we use CSMA?
No,
No, we can't use. So which are the problems that make it arise if we use the CSMA? Two problems that we have discussed. What are the names of those problems? Or can anybody?
It's check.
Yes.
It's check only medium.
Yeah, it checks only the medium. It doesn't check the status of the receiver. Correct. But which are the two problems that we have discussed if the CSMA can be used? Which are these two problems?
Hidden station problem.
Yeah. And second one? Second? Correct. Anushka, first problem is correct. Second? Yeah, second problem is hidden station problem and exposed station problem. Correct. These are the two problems that may get arise if CSMA is used in case of the wireless LAN. Okay. So what is hidden station problem when it get arise? Hidden station problem means what? And what is exposed station problem? Yes, I'll show you the diagram. Can you please anybody explain this diagram? This one. First one is the hidden station and second one is the exposed station. So what is the scenario in the first case? Yes, please unmute and tell me. Yes, can anybody tell? You can talk in Marathi also, no problem. Only thing is you get understood. Yes, Abhishek Zadav. Abhishek Zadav. Yes, tell me. Who will tell? Sushant, Vaishnavi, Vaibhavi, Tanvi, Sheetal Kedar. Sheetal, have you understood? I think it is your first lecture still.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Others, Sneha Maskar. Explain the diagram. Hmm? What is the first problem? Yes, can anybody tell? This is a hidden station problem, right? कशामुळे होतंय? A is hidden or it is too far from C. So A is transmitting or A is communicating with the B, but it is too far from the C. So it is hidden from C. So C is not able to locate the transmission between A and B. Simple. So that is called as a hidden station problem. And it is exposed station means what? Here B is transmitting to A, but B is near to C. So as it is near to C, so C can easily recognize that B is transmitting to the A, but at the same time, C will conclude that one of my neighbor is busy with other station, so D may be also busy with some other transmission. So it is fault conclusion related with the all neighbors from the C. So such type of problems are called as a exposed station problem. Okay, so these are the two problems which are arise due to the CSMA. Whatever part we have seen out of that, this particular limited contention protocol, it is asked in the exam. Adaptive tree walk, that example you have to explain how the grouping is done and all. So that is done. This wavelength division multiple access, that is not asked. I think only once it is asked. After that it is not asked. So you just read out and remember this diagram. Whatever you will understood from this diagram, that explanation you can have. Okay, so that is what. And the remaining part is important. This one. This one, wireless LAN. It is frequently asked. So remaining all are important. MACA, MACAW. For these two protocols, MACA and MACAW, you can have this diagram only, and you can explain it both from the same diagram, because only difference is of acknowledgement, nothing else. Okay. So by using this and this diagram, you can explain both the protocols simultaneously. And this is also important. Okay. So we'll stop here. Next lecture we will see the next part of this. So tomorrow again we are having the lecture. So tomorrow we will cover the remaining part of this chapter.